How can I become a thought leader in my industry? If you've ever wondered why some people in your industry are seen as the go-to authority, while others who are just as smart get overlooked, well, that's actually the difference. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can become a thought leader in your industry, and most importantly, why most people never get there. We're going to talk about how to actually define your audience the right way, what level of expertise you really need, how to clearly communicate the value you bring, and how to position yourself so your ideal clients find you instead of your competitors. This isn't about posting more content. It's not about sounding smart, and it's definitely not about going viral. This is about becoming the obvious choice for the exact people you want to work with. So by the end of this video, you'll have a clear framework for how to build real authority and turn that into consistent opportunities, revenue. Let's dive right in. If you're trying to become a thought leader in your industry, you've already set an impossible goal. Your industry is way too broad. There's too many people, they have many different needs, and there's many different problems, and not all of them are your ideal clients. So if you stay broad, you're going to blend in, and that becomes the real danger. The more broad your content is, the harder it is for your dream clients to recognize that you're the right person for them. They won't be able to differentiate you from everyone else. In a crowded industry, that means you lose, even if you're the best fit for them. That's why niching down really matters, not just as a concept, but as a strategy for domination. When you get clear on your audience, you're not limiting yourself. You're carving out a space that you can own, an area where your strengths, your experience, and your solutions are the very best fit. And when that happens, you become the obvious choice. Now, a lot of people have heard of this before. They talk about pick a niche, define your target market, but they haven't actually done the work. So here's how you actually do that work. Look at the clients that you've already worked with. Who were they? And what made them different? Which ones of your clients did you love working with the most? Which ones felt like drudgery? What problems did you solve for these ideal clients? What outcomes did you help them achieve? And then ask yourself, what type of work do I want to do more of? Which are the most profitable? What ones are the most fulfilling? What aligns best with my expertise? So if you can answer those questions, then you'll start to see patterns. And those patterns point you to the real audience, not your industry, but your audience. And once you have that clarity, then you're not trying to speak to everybody. You're speaking directly to the people that you can help the most. This is actually how you start to stand out and how you start to build authority. You can carve out a niche that becomes untouchable. So once you know exactly who you're speaking to, now you can develop the level of expertise that actually matters to them. The second piece to becoming a thought leader is your level of expertise. And not all expertise is the same. I break this into 3 levels. Level 1 is knowledge. You've read the books, you've studied the strategies, you've had the conversations, you know the information, and you can talk the talk. So level 2 is experience. You've actually applied the knowledge. You've tested it in the real world. You've failed and adjusted, and you've learned what works and what doesn't. So at level 2, you can actually walk the walk. You don't just know it, but you've done it. But level 3 is where thought leadership happens. Level 3 means you can help someone else succeed. So not just yourself, but someone with different challenges, different circumstances, different variables in their business. And you can guide them to the result. So it's a completely different level of expertise. It's not just about what worked for you, it's about understanding how to help them get consistent results across a variety of different people in different situations. So this is where most people get stuck. They think that thought leadership comes from knowledge, level 1, from sharing ideas, from sounding smart, but that's not what creates authority. You don't become a thought leader by having all the knowledge. You become one by helping other people succeed and positioning yourself in front of the people who need that help. So when I explain it this way, most people know exactly where they fall. Are they level 1, level 2, or level 3? And if you're not yet at a level 3, that's the focus. Help other people get results. Once your business can do that, everything will change for you, and your content will be grounded in real outcomes. Now your insights are based on actual experience, and your authority is earned. And this directly connects to the next thing I want to share with you, because once you've helped people succeed, now you have clarity on what you actually help them achieve. Now you can clearly define the problem that you solve and that outcome that you deliver. So the third piece we need to discuss is clarity on the solution. You have to be very clear on that outcome that you provide. Your audience doesn't buy your process, they buy the outcome. This is where a lot of people lose momentum. They talk about their system, their framework, their method. I've got this great process, just work with me and we'll make progress together. But that's vague. There's no clear destination. And if there's no clear destination, then there's no way for your audience to know if you're the right fit. So what happens? Well, you end up attracting the wrong people, or worse, the right people find you, but they move on because they're confused. They can't tell if you solve their specific problem, and this actually creates a bigger issue. If you're not clear on what that outcome is, then you don't have a target. And if you don't have a target, then how do you know if you're succeeding or not? You can't. This is why clarity matters so much. You need to define what's the exact result that I help people achieve. What does success look like for my client? What is point B? If you're starting at point A, what is that point B? Now, could you solve multiple problems? Yes, but you don't start there. You go narrow. You focus on one path going from A to B. That's how you can build authority, and that's how you can build momentum. So this is where being a level 3 expert can really help. You've already helped people succeed. You've seen that transformation. You know what works, but even then you may have helped people in multiple ways. So you have to choose. Which outcome is the most valuable? Which one's the most profitable? Which one is the most fulfilling to you? Which one leverages your unique method the best? And when you can answer these questions, then your messaging can become more clear and your content can become more focused. This will help your audience know exactly why they should pay attention. And once people are clear on the result you provide, now you can position yourself as the go-to expert for that outcome. The final piece is positioning, because this is where everything will come together. You have the right audience, you have the right expertise, you can have a clear solution, but if you're not positioned in front of your audience, then none of that matters. People won't know that you exist. So positioning is about being found. It's about showing up where your ideal clients are already looking at the exact moment that they're searching for answers. Because thought leadership isn't just about what you say, it's about where you show up. And this is where most people miss. They create content, they post consistently, but they're not intentional about where their content lives. They're hoping that some people come across it instead of positioning themselves where the demand already exists. So instead of asking, what should I post? You should be asking, what is my audience already searching for? Because those questions, that search intent, that's where the opportunity is. That's where your positioning happens. When someone has a problem and they go looking for a solution, do they find you or do they find someone else? That's the game. And when you align this with everything we've talked about, now it becomes powerful. You know exactly who your audience is. You know the outcome they want. You know the problem you solve. And now you show up consistently in those search results. Answering those exact questions over and over again is how you build authority. It's how you build trust. It's how you become the obvious choice, because you're not interrupting people with paid ads. You're meeting them where they already are. And when you do this consistently, you don't just create content, you're creating visibility and you're creating category dominance. You're creating positioning that competitors can't touch. That's what turns you into a true thought leader. So if you want to see what this actually looks like in practice, the next step is to watch this episode, Achieve Category Dominance. In that video, you're going to see real examples, not just concepts, but I'll show you exactly how this plays out when it's done right. You'll be able to see how positioning works, how content shows up in front of someone, and how someone can truly dominate a space in front of the ideal audience. So instead of just understanding the strategy, now you can go see it for yourself. I'll see you there.